We just let it happen. We like to think we're the masters of our domain. We tamed fire, we built the pyramids, we put rovers on Mars. We look at the dogs sleeping at our feet and think, look what we built. For thousands of years, humans have actively molded the animal kingdom to suit our needs. We bred wolves into pugs, wild cattle into dairy cows, and wild boars into the pigs we farm today. We are the ultimate domesticators. Or so we thought. But what if I told you that there is one animal in your house right now that you didn't domesticate? An animal that looked at human civilization, realized we had central heating and a surplus of rodents, and decided to move in. That's right. We didn't domesticate cats. Cats domesticated us. And we just let it happen. Let's rewind the clock about 10,000 years to the Fertile Crescent, the birthplace of agriculture. Humans had just figured out how to farm. Instead of wandering around hunting and gathering, we started settling down, building storehouses, and hoarding grain. This was a massive leap forward for humanity, but it also created a massive problem: mice. Our grain silos were basically all-you-can-eat buffets for rodents. The mouse population exploded, and where there are mice, there are predators. Enter Felis silvestris libica, the African wildcat. These fierce, solitary hunters noticed that human settlements were crawling with easy prey. So, they started hanging around. They didn't come to us for belly rubs or laser pointers. They came for the buffet. Now, if a wolf had wandered into an early human settlement, we would have either killed it or actively tried to tame it. But the wildcats? They were small, they minded their own business, and most importantly, they were killing the pests that were eating our food. It was a mutually beneficial arrangement. They got free meals, we got free pest control. This brings me to my first question for you. Do you think your cat actually loves you? Or are they just sticking around for the free food? Let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious to hear if you think your feline friend is a genuine companion or just a highly evolved freeloader. Unlike dogs, which we selectively bred for specific jobs like herding, guarding, and hunting, we never really selectively bred cats. For thousands of years, cats just did their own thing. They lived alongside us, but they were never fully dependent on us. They were wild animals that just happened to find human settlements convenient. This is why, genetically speaking, your modern house cat is almost indistinguishable from its wild ancestors. A golden retriever looks nothing like a wolf. But a tabby cat? It looks exactly like an African wildcat, just slightly smaller and maybe a bit more colorful. Scientists have actually sequenced the genome of the domestic cat and compared it to wildcats. The results were shocking. There are very few genetic differences. The main changes are in the genes related to memory, fear, and reward-seeking behavior. Essentially, cats just evolved to be slightly less afraid of us and slightly more motivated by the treats we give them. They didn't change their bodies, they just changed their attitudes. Think about that for a second. They didn't bend to our will. They just decided that tolerating us was worth the free food and warm fires. As humans started to travel, the cats came with us. They hopped on ships with early sailors. Again, not because they loved the open ocean, but because ships were full of rats. They spread to ancient Egypt, where they were elevated from pest control to literal deities. The Egyptians worshipped cats, punishing anyone who harmed them and even mummifying them when they died. This is where the psychological manipulation really began. Cats realized that humans are incredibly susceptible to cute things. They have big eyes, round faces, and they make high-pitched noises. Sound familiar? They share physical traits with human babies. Evolutionary biologists call this the baby schema, and it completely short-circuits the human brain. We are biologically hardwired to want to nurture and protect things that look like babies. And if their looks weren't enough, consider their meow. Adult cats rarely meow at each other. Meowing is a behavior kittens use to get their mother's attention. But adult domestic cats figured out that if they meow at humans, we will give them what they want. They essentially treat us like giant, hairless, overly emotional mother cats. Have you ever noticed that your cat's "I'm hungry" meow sounds eerily similar to a baby crying? That's not an accident. Studies have shown that cats have actually developed a specific solicitation purr that includes a high-frequency cry embedded within it. This frequency hits the exact same acoustic peak as a human infant's cry. It is incredibly difficult for us to ignore. They have hacked our evolutionary biology to get us to open a can of tuna. If this realization is making you look at your cat differently, drop a like on this video. It's wild to think that the animal sleeping on your keyboard right now is actually a master manipulator that hijacked our maternal instincts. So, while we spent millennia selectively breeding dogs to obey our every command, cats were selectively breeding us to be better servants. They trained us to clean their litter boxes, buy them expensive specialized food, and build them carpeted towers in our living rooms. And what do they do in return? They sleep for 16 hours a day and occasionally knock a glass of water off the table just to assert dominance. But it's not just their behavior that proves they domesticated themselves. It's their absolute refusal to be fully tamed. If you let a domestic dog loose in the woods, it will likely struggle to survive. It has lost the wild instincts of its wolf ancestors. But if you let a domestic cat outside, it immediately reverts to being an apex predator. They are perfectly capable of hunting and surviving on their own. They don't need us. They just prefer the luxury we provide. This independence is what makes our relationship with cats so unique. They are the only domesticated animal that could leave us tomorrow and be perfectly fine. But they choose to stay. Maybe that's why we love them so much. In a world where we control almost everything, the cat is a tiny, purring reminder that nature still has a mind of its own. We respect their boundaries because they demand it. We earn their affection because they don't give it away for free. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the secret history of our feline overlords, now would be a great time to hit that subscribe button. We explore the hidden psychology and untold stories behind the things we take for granted every day. So join the community and never look at your pets the same way again. Ultimately, the story of the cat is the story of the most successful infiltration in history. They saw the apex predator of the planet, us, and instead of competing with us, they convinced us to pamper them. They didn't need to change who they were. They just needed to change how we reacted to them. So the next time your cat meows at you at 5 a.m. for breakfast, don't think of yourself as their master. Think of yourself as their very well-trained roommate. You didn't adopt them. They hired you. And honestly, they're paying us in purrs, headbutts, and the occasional dead mouse on the porch. As far as deals go, we could have done a lot worse. Let me know what the weirdest thing your cat does to manipulate you is in the comments. Thanks for watching, and go give your tiny wildcat a treat. They've earned it.